Hey, it's Dorothy Black from thedotspot.net. Sex is fun, weird, interesting, so-so, awesome, comfortable, uncomfortable, scary, strange, boring, or the best thing in the world. But the one fundamental biological fact is that it leads to kids if you don't practice safe sex. Which is why we use contraceptives. Contraceptives stop babies. I'm sure you know that. They come in two forms. Barriers and hormonal. Barrier contraceptives basically stop or interrupt the sperm from getting to the uterus and fertilizing the egg. So male and female condoms are basically barrier contraceptives because they prevent the sperm from going where it is biologically valuable. Other barrier methods of contraceptives include cervical caps and diaphragms, which are basically like little latex discs and cups that cover the cervix, which is the entrance to the uterus, like so. And so if it's kind of stopping, here's the little cup and here's the entrance to the uterus, then the sperm can't get through. And then there are things that interrupt sperm, like IUDs or intrauterine devices. These are sort of like little copper T's or little T devices that are popped up into the uterus and then prevent the sperm from connecting with the egg properly. And then there are hormonal methods, which are used by women, and which alter the hormonal balance in charge of releasing the eggs. So these kinds of hormonal things include the pill and the patch and the injection. And then you also have some IUDs that have a hormonal aspect to it. So they have the normal sort of kind of T device that's in the uterus, and then they add hormones to it. So you have like a double whammy barrier and hormonal contraceptive. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the finer nuances of each of these, since each person's requirements will be unique, and a visit to your doctor or your clinic will help you decide which one will be best for you. And it is a decision because each body is a bit different, and each option has its upsides and its downsides. But I suppose you could say that the most effective, the most popular combo of contraceptives would be the condom, which would be a barrier method and help prevent STDs, and also an hormonal backup like your pill or your injection or your patch, which would prevent babies. But I'd rather talk about some touchier subjects when it comes to contraceptives. And the top one has to be how some of you believe that carrying condoms sends the wrong message. Like some people think that if a woman carries condoms or goes on contraceptives, that she is a slut and that she obviously wants sex. Well, on one hand, so what if she wants sex? But more importantly, I don't know about you, but I would much rather respect a person who values their health and makes good life choices about their future. If someone is going to shit talk you because you respect yourself, the problem is not with you, it is firmly with them. And yes, morality bullies really like to say that abstinence is the only 100% foolproof way to not fall pregnant. But my response to that is, if we can land a robot on a comet, then surely we can use the crazy science available to us to have fun with sex and not procreate at the same time. Now, there are another two very contentious points when it comes to contraceptives and our bodies and what happens if our contraceptive fails, because sometimes it does. Now, picture the scenario. The condom has broken, or someone has ejaculated into you for whatever reason and you are not happy about it. The first thing you do is you go to your local clinic or your local chemist and you get the morning after pill. Now, the emergency morning after pill is basically a mega dose of hormones, like a mega dose of taking the pill. You just take it all at once. You can take it up to 72 hours after the fact, but preferably within 24 hours. It delays ovulation, and in some cases, it can even prevent the egg from being fertilized. There are a lot of rumors that fly around about the morning after pill, usually propagated by mother grandies and the morality bullies, that are simply untrue. The morning after pill is not an abortion. You're not going to fall over with the most terrible side effects, okay? Some people feel a bit nauseous, some people feel a bit dizzy, my skin has broken out, and then the third biggie is that taking the morning after pill will make you infertile. It is simply not true. This doesn't mean that you should use it all the time. It is not an effective birth control. First of all, it's way too expensive. a birth control. Second, messing around with the hormones and your period cycle on and off is not great. It's not smart. So you're not going to use it like candy. You're going to use it in an emergency, as the name implies. What I'm trying to impress on you here is that an unwanted pregnancy is simply not necessary and it is not inevitable. And now, while we're on the subject of options, let's talk about unwanted pregnancies when you haven't taken the morning after pill, or you have, it didn't work, and now you are pregnant. Let me be clear about my position on this. If you are not ready to have a child, or you do not want a child, do not have a child. You do not need to suffer, and they do not need to suffer a life that is not prepared for them. Now, I know that there are some heavy religious beliefs out there about abortion for some people, and I know that it really prevents them from even considering a termination if they fall pregnant. But you need to know that there are supportive people in places that will help you come to a clear and healthy decision for you should you find yourself in that position. And if you decide to opt for termination, then you go through the regulated channels, because they are there. Backstreet abortions are just a whole lot of pain and trauma and bad health. You know, if you choose to terminate, or if you're thinking about terminating and you're not sure, go to your clinic, go speak to your doctor, and make sure you trust your doctor. Go to the Mary Stopey's clinic. Get consultation, get advice, get input, find out what the process is. Arm yourself with information and make a valuable decision for your life. There is information, advice, and support at hand. You do not need to go through this alone. And if you feel the costs are too high for an abortion, then I would like you to consider the cost of raising another human for 18 years. And fobbing off the kid to your parents is not a good solution. Get help from your partner. Get help from your friends, from your family, if you need it. The support is there. And you know, contraception is not a women's issue. It is a men and a women's issue. It takes two to tango in this little game called making a baby. Make good life choices. Make good life choices for yourself. Make good life choices for your future. And those decisions, making those life choices, starts with when you go and buy that condom. And that's all I have time for today. Like my grandfather always used to say, if it's not on, it's not in.